Hello and good morning. Joe Justice coming to you live here on December 1st, 2022. I believe that puts us officially in the holiday season. I hope you guys are excited. I hope everyone's having a good time with the holidays and expecting lots of fun and exciting things to happen. I know that I am. So, I was wanting to talk to you guys today about firewalls. Firewalls are an important element of your cybersecurity and your basic overall security posture. Which, speaking of which, let's talk about that for just a second. What is security posture? So, when it comes to cybersecurity, being prepared, getting ready for any kind of cyber attack, the the real issue behind everything is there's no 100% secure system. There's no way. Hackers are always finding new exploits. There's 0-day events that happen every day. There's constantly stuff happening, and there's really no way around the simple fact that there's no 100% guarantee. So when I talk about cybersecurity posture, I'm talking about that ability to be prepared for any kind of a cyber attack. That's what we're talking about with cybersecurity posture. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your first line of defense, which is in fact your firewall. So what is a firewall? Let's break it down to the most simple thing. So first of all, did you know that there are bots out there on the internet right now that all they do is just comb through internet connections and search for vulnerabilities? Now, what is a bot? A bot is simply a computer program. That's really all it is. We like to kind of dress it up and make it sound more fancy than it is, but it's really just a computer program that pops up on somebody's computer and it goes through and does something. So it's an unmanned operation, a robot, as it were, and that's where the term comes from. So what are these bots up to? Well, your internet protocol, the access to your computer, is just a mathematical formula. And literally what these bots do is just they try one mathematical address, and then they try another mathematical address, and then they try another mathematical address, and then they try another mathematical address, all the way down, trying all of these different mathematical addresses. That's called port scanning, packet sniffing. There's all kinds of terms for that kind of stuff. All that really comes down to at the end of the day is they are looking for somebody that's got something open that they can attack. Now, once they find something, then they might alert a human being to actually do something about it, an actual hacker or something like that, or maybe not. Some of these bots are pretty sophisticated and they can actually do attacks all by themselves. Now, what will happen a lot of times is they will find these vulnerabilities, they'll store them in some kind of a database. Maybe they sell that to other people, maybe not. There's all kinds of different things that they can do. But that's one of the things that these bots will do, these botnets. They'll search for vulnerabilities. So, you need to put something between your computer and those bots. Your computer and the internet. And that's exactly what a firewall is. It's as simple as that. All a firewall is some way to put something between you and the other computers. Now, firewalls started out way back in the 1980s when these types of things were first starting to get introduced. They would be port sniffers. Now, again, the port sniffers would find a vulnerability that say, hey, this port, this address. Again, so like, think of it this way. Think of it as a port sniffer or a packet sniffer, something like that. It's basically going door to door and checking to see if the door is locked. Okay, think of it that way. So it's just going through different addresses and checking to see if the doors are locked. If it finds a door that's open, then it tries to enter in and do nefarious things. So consider this back in the 80s when this stuff first started to happen. Back then they would have been using ARPANET, not the internet. That's when you had your first generation of firewalls. And what these firewalls would do is if somebody came knocking on the door, they would keep a block there that said, no, nobody's getting in through here. So, and then as time went on through the 1990s, they became more and more sophisticated. and they were able to check for different things. Because here's the problem. Here's the problem that you got to realize. Some of your ports, some of your access, some of the addresses, the doors, in other words, have to be unlocked. If you want to access the internet to check out a website, that means that those ports between your computer and the internet and into the cloud, those have to be unlocked. So that opening is available. So what had to happen was more sophisticated firewalls that were able to tell the difference, not just people scanning or bots scanning bad addresses, scanning for things that they can do, but being able to tell the difference between what was expected, the type of traffic that was expected versus the type of traffic that was unexpected. So nefarious activity, for example. So you had that to keep in mind. That kind of came into the 90s. And then into the early 2000s, you get your third generation. That added an application layer. So it would protect the internal network from certain applications. As the internet, it has just exploded. You got to remember, the internet, for all intents and purposes, isn't much more than 20 years old. And now everybody has access to it all the time, right? Well, as that access exploded, there were all kinds of exploits. There were bots that were getting in through different types of applications, programs that in principle had to be open to the network, but they had all kinds of vulnerabilities. So you couldn't just leave them wide open, but people got used to using these types of things. Things like instant messenger, screen sharing software, file transfer protocols, peer-to-peer networking, all these kinds of things, video games. They needed to access to the outside world, but enabling that access enabled the bad actors to be able to get in. So what happened was the firewalls had to be more sophisticated to be able to look at the packet level of that information to see what exactly is this data up to. What's it trying to do? Is this good data? Is this bad data? Is this trying to get into the network? And then on top of that, not only was it looking for stuff that was bad stuff trying to get in, it needed to start looking for bad stuff trying to get out. So imagine your computer got infected with a Trojan horse virus. Well, those Trojan horse viruses look a certain way, and the firewalls could tell, hey, wait a minute, this information coming from this computer, this is Trojan horse type information. We need to not let this information out, and that will prevent the bad actors from taking control over these computers, which is exactly what you want to do, right? So into the 2000s and into the 2010s, they started getting more and more advanced into where we get today, where you have very sophisticated firewalls that can do very sophisticated things. And that gets us into a really important understanding of firewalls. As they exist today, a lot of people think of them as devices. Think of them like the way that you think of a firewall, you just kind of it's like a block, right? It's like a wall that you put in between you and the internet. And that's not exactly how it works. They're really closer to living, breathing devices. They update regularly. They get new information. They get new threats, new, types of data that are out there, that new exploits, new zero-day events. They're constantly getting all of this new information. So you need to work with a vendor that has the type of firewalls that can constantly be updated and be moving forward so that you're not stuck. You don't want to have a 2016 firewall and be dealing with 2022 threats, because the 2022 threats are going to blow right past that 2016 firewall. And you definitely don't want to have an early 2000 firewall, because that is not going to help you long term. You need firewalls that are constantly updating. They're dynamic. They're active, because hackers and bad actors and bots, all of the bad things on the internet, they're active and they're constantly changing. So you have to change and adapt right along with them. Along those same lines, there's different types of firewalls. There's software firewalls, there's hardware firewalls, there's virtual firewalls, all kinds of different things. We recommend all of them for different applications, for different workloads. You want to have a hardware firewall, an actual physical device that you can put on your network that blocks all external traffic. You want to have a software-based firewall that kind of keeps on localized systems for anything that might be able to get past those hardware firewalls. And if you have virtual devices that are in the cloud, for example, you've got something on Amazon Web Services or Azure or any of the other web services, the cloud services, you want to have virtual firewalls that can monitor those types of things as well. So you want to make sure that you have a basic firewall set up that covers your entire stack from top to bottom. Everything that comes in and out of your network, anything that touches your data needs to be protected by a firewall. So make sure you work with an IT company that understands how to engineer those, understands how to set those up, understands how to put them in place. And Advantage Technology, I know, shocker, right, is the perfect company for that type of thing. So you make sure you contact us if you ever need any of that kind of stuff. I hope you found this helpful today. I hope that you like, share, subscribe, let everybody know where you heard this information. And if you need any help, shoot us a message, send us a contact, send us a comment, and we will be happy to help you out. Have a wonderful Thursday, and we will see you tomorrow.